Mali. Now, here this part number second, and the name of chapter is design of shaft, key, and couplings. Now, in first part, we will see here what is meant by shaft, then use of shaft, then in shaft which type of stresses is acting on the shaft. Now, in part second, we will see the types of shafts. Here now see here the classification of the shaft as per use of the shaft it will be get classified as per length or as per rotations. The shaft is classified. Now you see here the shaft is classified into basic three types. Now first is here transmission shaft. Now then second is here spindle, third one axle, and fourth one is here machine shaft. Now what is meant by transmission shaft? Transmission shaft, it is nothing but it is used to transmit the power or motion from one point to another point. Transmission shaft, it is nothing but it is used to transmit power from one point to another point, that is from source of power to power absorbing device. Now for example is here electric motor or water pump. Now the transmission shaft is also used to support such like gears, pulleys or sprocket, etc. Now in the transmission shaft, the shaft it will be get classified again in two or three shafts. Now see here, first one is the line shaft, second one is the counter shaft, and third one is the overhead shaft. Now what is meant by line shaft, what is meant by counter shaft? Now see here, the line shaft it is nothing but the axis of the shaft are coincide with each other, or it is nothing but the line shaft consists of the number of shafts which are connected in axial direction by means of coupling. It is nothing but the axis it attached with each other in line with the help of couplings. Now see here, this is the first one shaft. Here this is the coupling. Coupling is used to connect one shaft to the another shaft. Now this is second shaft. Again here coupling is used, and here this is third shaft. Now see here the axis of shaft are coaxial with each other. This is nothing but line shaft. Then next shaft is here counter shaft. Now counter shaft it is nothing but a secondary shaft which is driven by main shaft from which power is supplied to machine component. Now see here the counter shaft it is nothing but secondary shaft. Now see here what is meant by counter shaft. Now this is first shaft, it is connected to the machine. Then I want to transmit the motion from this shaft to another machine part. Now but here gap in between them. Now I am use here pulleys or gears. With the help of this I connect the shaft first to the shaft second. This is nothing but counter shaft. In line shaft the axes are coaxial with each other, but in counter shaft the axes are parallel with each other and transmit a motion from machine of one component to second component. This is a counter shaft. Then next shaft is types of shaft is a spindle. Now here see here the spindle is a short rotating shaft which forms a integral part of any machine. As compared to transmission shaft, the length of the spindle shaft is short and it is mostly used in the manufacturing machines such like a drilling machine or grinding machine, etc. Why the spindle are used in machine? The spindle are used in the machine to fix the tools, cutting tools. Then next one is here axle. Axle is a non-rotating element. In the transmission shaft is a rotating element, or spindle is also rotating element, but now see here the axle is a non-rotating element. Then axle it is used to support a rotating elements like wheels or rope sleeve. Then the axle does not transmit any torque. The axle is only used to support elements such like wheels. Now see here, for example is rear axle of railway wagon, or another example is here the axle of tractor trolleys. Then last shaft is here machine shaft. Then the machine shaft, it is nothing but it is an integral part of the machine. It is an integral part of the machine. For example, crank shaft. Now here we will see the types of shaft. In shaft, first one is the transmission, second one is the spindle, third is axle, and last one is the machine shaft. Transmission shaft is used to transmit the power from one point to another point. In under transmission shaft, there is first one is line shaft, another one is the counter shaft, or third one is the overhead shaft. Then next is a spindle. Spindle is a shortest shaft. It is most of the time is used in the manufacturing machine. And axle it is nothing but it is a support to the rotating elements such like wheels or rope sleeves. But axle is not a rotating element. It does not transmit any torque. And last one is the machine shaft. Machine shaft, it is an integral part of the machine. Now after completion of this, we will see the design of shaft. We will see here the design of shaft. Now in design of shaft, we will see here two shafts. First one is the solid shaft and second one is the hollow shaft. For design procedure for solid shaft and design procedure for hollow shaft. Now what is meant by solid or what is meant by hollow shaft? You see here, solid shaft, it is nothing but they have only one diameter, and hollow shaft, it is nothing but they have two diameter. The internal part of the shaft is removed. This is nothing but hollow shaft. Now firstly we will see the design procedure for solid shaft. Now we will see here the design procedure for solid shaft. The design process of solid shaft, it will be based on three criterias. How much criterias? Three criterias. First is the design of shaft is based on strength. Second is the design of shaft is based on torsional rigidity. And see here, third one is the design of shaft is based on ASME codes. Now see here, design procedure for the solid shaft is based on three criteria. First criteria is here based on strength, second one is the based on torsional rigidity, and third one is the based on ASME codes. Now here we will see the first criteria based on strength. Now this criteria is again classified into three criteria. Now see here, criteria first based on strength. This criteria is again classified into 3 points. Now first is based on tensile stress. Second one is based on bending stress. And third one is based on torsional shear stress. First is based on tensile stress, second one is the based on bending stress, and third one is the based on torsional shear stress. Now the shaft is in underworking on the shaft, the load is act in tensile direction. Load is act in tensile direction. The tensile stress is created in the shaft. On the shaft, the bending load is act, and due to this load, the bending moment is created, and because of this bending moment, the bending stress it will be act on the shaft. Now, because of the twisting movement or torsional movement, the torsional shear stress is created on the shaft. Now see here, first one, and this is the basic procedure, tensile stress. Now I am considering here one rod having diameter is small d. One rod having diameter is small d, and on the rod the P kilonewton load is act. How much load is act here? The P kilonewton load is act on the shaft, and due to this load, the shaft is created, or in the shaft is generated the tensile stress. Now the tensile stress is defined as applied load divided by cross section area. It is nothing but tensile stress sigma T is equals to applied load P divided by cross section area. Here A, it is nothing but cross section area. Now the formula for A is equals to pi by 4 into d square. Now this value is put in above equation. The formula for tensile stress is generated here. Sigma T is equals to P divided by pi by 4 into d square. Now is equals to 4p divided by pi d square. Denominator is a denominator, it is a numerator. 4p divided by pi d square, and this is the formula for tensile stress. Now in design of the shaft, we want to calculate only d. D, it is nothing but the diameter of rod. This is the first criteria, or this is the first design process. It is based on the tensile stress. Now see here, next design process is here, the bending stress. Bending stress, second one is here, bending stress. Now in bending stress, we know the formula about bending stress. We know sigma b by y is equals to mb by I. Now here sigma b, it is nothing but bending stress, then mb, it is nothing but bending moment, I, it is nothing but moment of inertia, and the formula for moment of inertia for circular cross section, it is the pi by 64 into d raised to 4. Then last one is the y. It is nothing but distance from neutral axis to top surface. Now see here, what is mean by y? Y, it is nothing but it is the distance from neutral axis to top surface. Then I am considering here one circular cross section shaft having a diameter is a small d. This is the horizontal axis and this is the vertical axis. Horizontal axis, it is nothing but neutral axis. Now from this neutral axis to the top surface, it is called as y. Now y, it is nothing but, it is a radius, and radius it is nothing but d by 2. Then I know the value of I and I know the value of y. That is, y is equals to d by 2 and I is equals to pi by 64 into d raised to 4. I know these both values. Now these both values are put in this above equation, in equation number first. Now both values are put in above equation first. Then sigma b divided by y, it is nothing but d by 2 is equals to mb divided by pi by 64 into d raised to 4. Now here I want the value of sigma b. Sigma b, it is nothing but bending stress. And which value I want to calculate? The value of sigma b. Now rearrange the total terms and calculate the value of sigma b. And this sigma b, it is nothing but bending stress. Now this formula, it is possible to calculate diameter d. Now see here how to rearrange the terms. Sigma b is equals to, this is left hand side and this is right hand side. This is left hand side and this is right hand side. Now here only sigma b. Here denominator is d by 2. Now this values take to this side, from right hand side to the left hand side. Now this value is here denominator, it will transfer from this side. This denominator is a numerator. Then rewrite the terms, mb into d by 2 divided by pi by 64 into d raised to 4. Then recalculations here, sigma b is equals to, now denominator is numerator. Then it is nothing but, what I tell you, denominator is denominator, it is numerator. Then it is nothing but 64 mb into d divided by this 2 into pi into d raised to 4. Now see here, 1 d is get cancelled here. Then 2, it is 32. And formula is here 32 mb divided by pi into d raised to 3. And this is the formula of bending stress. Now in design process, we calculate the value of diameter d. In problem, it is possible to calculate the value of sigma b. Sigma b, it is nothing but bending moment, and the value of sigma b is also given in the problem. But now suppose the value of sigma b is not given in the problem, then this value is given in the problem. It is if we want to calculate the d, then value of mb and value of sigma b is given in the problem. And this is the formula of bending stress. Then third one, I will explain or repeat this once again. Now see here, this is the bending stress. We know the formula of bending stress is sigma b by y is equals to mb by I. then where sigma b is the bending stress, mb is the bending moment, I is the moment of inertia of circular cross section, then I, it is nothing but pi by 64 into d raised to 4. This formula for the circular cross section. As per cross section, the formula of moment of inertia is get changed. Y is nothing but distance from neutral axis to the top surface. Then now see here, I am taking one cross sectional area. Shaft is here, having diameter is small d. Now horizontal axis is nothing but neutral axis, and this is the vertical axis. Now y, it is nothing but distance from neutral axis to the top fiber. Now see here, it is the distance from neutral axis to the top fiber, and this distance is nothing but radius, and radius it is nothing but d by 2. Now I know the value of y is equals to d by 2 and I is equals to pi by 64 into d raised to 4, and these both values are put in the equation first, and equation first is nothing but this equation. Then rearranging all terms here, I got the answer is sigma b is equals to 32 mb divided by pi d cube, and this formula for bending stress. Now, and third one is here torsional shear stress. Third one, torsional shear stress. Here we know the formula is here tau divided by r is equals to mt divided by j. Now where tau, it is nothing but torsional shear stress, then r, it is nothing but radius of shaft, then mt, it is nothing but twisting moment, and j, it is nothing but polar moment of inertia. Now see here, J it is nothing but polar moment of inertia, mt it is nothing but twisting moment, r it is nothing but the radius of shaft, and tau it is nothing but the torsional shear stress. Now in this, once again I am taking here one circular shaft having small diameter is d. Now here r, it is nothing but the radius of shaft, that is the radius of shaft is d by 2, and I know the formula of polar moment of inertia, and the formula is j is equals to pi by 32 into d raised to 4. Now see here, I know two values. Now these two values are put in this above equation. Now what we do? Put these values in above equation. Then tau divided by d by 2 is equals to mt divided by pi by 32 into d raised to 4. Now rearrange this term. I want the values of torsional shear stress, and torsional shear stress is denoted with the help of tau. Now rearrange this all term is equals to the tau. Now see here, this is left hand side and this is a right hand side. Take all terms in right hand side. Now tau is equals to, this is a denominator, now transfer to right hand side, and denominator is here numerator. mt into d by 2 divided by pi by 32 into d raised to 4. Here denominator is numerator. Then rearrange the term once again. Rearrange the terms once again. 32 mt into d divided by this 2 is right here, 2 into pi d raised to 4. Now see here, 1 d is get cancelled, then 2 and 32 is 16. Now the formula is here 16 mt divided by pi d cube, and this formula is for torsional shear stress. Here we want to calculate the value of d, and the value of mt and tau is given in the problem, and to calculate the direct value of d, and d it is nothing but the design of shaft, d it is nothing but the diameter of shaft also. Here see, this is the formula for bending stress and this is the formula for torsional shear stress. Now first point is completed here, but the shaft is in under working. Now see here, I am taking one shaft, one example is here, and on the shaft this is first pulley and this is another one, second pulley. I am taking one example here is here, and this is the bearings, first bearing and this is a second bearing. Now on this pulley the belt is mounted, this is belt, this is a pulley and this is a shaft. Now I am taking here one example is here, one shaft is here having two pulleys is mounted on this shaft and two bearing is used to support the shaft. Now this shaft is an under working process, belt is rotate, and due to the rotation of the belt pulley is rotate, and pulley is mounted on the shaft, and due to the rotation of the pulley the shaft is also rotate. Now understand one concept is here, at under working condition the rotate the shaft, and due to the rotation of the shaft torsional or twisting movement is act on the shaft at the time of rotation. Now shaft is it will get rotated, at that time the twisting movement is act on the shaft, and due to the pulleys the bending movement is act on the shaft. Due to the rotation twisting movement is act on shaft, and due to the weight of the pulley bending movement is act on the shaft. At one time these two movements is act on the shaft, and due to the twisting movement torsional shear stress is created, and due to the bending movement bending stress is created. Now at one time these two movements or two stress is act on the shaft, and due to this reason here to calculate the combined stress, and how it is possible to calculate the combined stress. Now the combined stress is calculated with the help of theories of failure. Why combined stress is created on the shaft? Due to the rotation twisting moment is acting on the shaft, and due to the weight of the pulleys the bending moment is acting on the shaft, and due to the twisting moment torsional shear stress is created, and due to the bending moment due to the bending moment bending stress is created, and due to these two the shaft is get fail as early as possible. And because of these two we want to calculate the combined stress. Now see here, How is it possible to calculate the combined stress? The combined stress is calculated with the help of theories of failure. Combined stress is calculated with the help of theories of failure. Now first theories of failure is here, maximum principal stress theory. Now the formula of maximum principal stress theory is sigma max is equals to sigma x divided by 2 plus root of sigma x divided by 2 bracket square plus tau square. Now that is the sigma x is equals to sigma b, and sigma b, it is nothing but bending stress. Now here we know the values of sigma b and tau. What is the value of sigma b? Sigma b is equals to 32 mb divided by pi d cube, and the value of tau is 16 mt divided by pi d cube. Now these two values are put in this equation and to calculate the formula for maximum principal stress theory. The maximum principal stress theory is used for the brittle material. Now sigma max is equals to, the formula of sigma b is 32 mb divided by pi d cube plus root of 32 mb divided by pi d cube bracket square into 2 plus 16 mt divided by pi d cube. Now here 2 also because of these two. Now this, due to these two, and this 16 and this also 16, and formula is rewrite here, the sigma max is equals to 16 mb divided by pi d cube plus root of 16 mb divided by pi d cube bracket square plus 16 mt divided by pi d cube bracket square. Now take common terms here in this root and take it outside. Now how is it possible to write? Sigma max is equals to 16 mb divided by pi d cube plus, take common term outside the bracket, and it is 16 divided by pi d cube and under root mb bracket square plus mt bracket square. Now once again take the common terms from these two, then sigma max is equals to 16 divided by pi d cube in bracket mb plus root of mb bracket square plus mt bracket square, and this is the formula for maximum principal stress theory. Now see here in this formula we calculate d. D, it is nothing but the diameter of shaft. Now the values are given in the problem. Based on this problem, to calculate mb, mt and also sigma max. If sigma max is not given in the problem, then to calculate, another one formula is here, sigma max is equals to sigma yt or sigma ut divided by fs. It is nothing but yield point stress. This is nothing but ultimate stress, and fs, it is nothing but factor of safety. Now using this value, put in above equation and calculate the value of d. This is the first theories of failure for brittle material. Now see another one Second theory of failure is maximum shear stress theory. Which theory is here? Maximum shear stress theory, and this theory is used for ductile material only. This theory is used for the ductile material only, and the formula of this theories of failure is tau max is equals to under root sigma x divided by 2 bracket square plus tau square. Now sigma x, it is nothing but sigma b, and sigma b, it is nothing but bending stress. And we know the value of sigma b and tau. Sigma b is equals to 32 mb divided by pi d cube, and comma tau, it is nothing but 16 mt divided by pi d cube. Now these two values are put in this above equation. The equation is tau max is equals to under root 32 mb divided by 2 into pi into d cube bracket square plus 16 mt divided by pi d cube. Now this 2 and 32 is 16 here. Tau max is equals to under root 16 mb divided by pi d cube bracket square plus 16 mt divided by pi d cube bracket square. Now take the common terms from them. Tau max is equals to 16 divided by pi d cube in bracket under root mb square plus mt square, and this is the formula for maximum shear stress theory. Now this formula, we calculate the value of d. D is the diameter of shaft, and the value of sigma b and tau b is given in the problem, and also the value of tau max is given in the problem. If the value of tau max is not given in the problem, then another one formula is here. Tau max is equals to 0.5 sigma yt or sigma ut divided by factor of safety. Sigma yt, it is nothing but yield upon stress. Sigma ut, it is nothing but ultimate stress, and fs, it is nothing but factor of safety. Now first point is complete here. Another the process of design we'll see in next lecture. Here the first design process is complete based on strength. Now in next lecture we'll see the design of shaft is based on the torsional rigidity, and design of shaft is based on ASME code. Thank you.